All right. Welcome everybody to tonight's Borough Council meeting, September 3rd, September 8th, 6:30, and it's now 6:30. Stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Indivisible. Among the five.
All right, roll call. Mr. Capetti,
Here.
Mr. Pinsky,
Here.
Mr. Kronowski,
Here.
Mr. Edie,
Here.
Mrs. Colby, here. Mr. Salula,
Here.
Mr. Stanzak, Mayor Chuck, Mrs. Robson, here. Mrs. Jaeger, here. Mr. Paltovich.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Any corrections or additions to the minutes from last month?
Under general government, payment disposition fee rates,
Okay,
in Penn Bank, you don't have anything about their 6 month. That's what we went with, so I think that should be added.
yeah.
Could you speak up, please? Interrupt you.
I have their mind.
Hear me now? Under the sewage payment, CD rate on, we want 6 month rate. Now, they need to have 6 month rate. Some trust they include, what Nick Ken's rate for 6 months.
Any other corrections? I have a motion to accept the minutes last month as printed, or with the addition of correction. Second. Okay, that motion by Charity Colbank, second by Matt Knosky. Any those in favor, any questions? Those in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay. All right, public comment. 3 minutes per person. Lincoln Jameson.
Good there, can everyone hear me? How about now? How about now?
A little bit lower. Lower.
How about this? Everyone good? Right? Can you hear me? Okay, cool. So, very good. Cool. This, tonight I'm speaking strictly about code enforcement. Only code enforcement. However you want to say. On July 4, 2023, Dr. Drex expanded his parking lot by digging a hole very proximal to my backyard, filling it in with gravel and leaving it as is. No surface water runoff system was installed. No permit was issued prior to digging. No 811 call was made prior to digging. No survey was done prior to digging. No markings, barriers, fencing, signage, or proper surface material were installed during the development of this parking lot. On July 5th, 2023, the borough manager and code enforcement officer were both informed. Both came to my house to observe a parking lot development. We met with Dr. Drex's junior and senior, the code enforcement officer, the borough manager, and my mother to figure out this concern. After a few minutes, the code enforcement officer decided he saw nothing wrong with it. He told us that the water runoff from the school hill would end up right in the parking lot corner and settle with that picture right there. It did. After a lengthy discussion, he let us know to call me when you have an issue. I have a big issue now, Steve. Audit. Okay. So, this parking lot violates at least chapters 5, 6, 26, and 27 of the Borough Code Book. Pending notice of a violation is required per Scottdale Code. A permit for parking lot was signed by the stipulation that the parking lot would be made to code after later dates. Shortly thereafter, I began to have questions about your credibility. Steve, why did you let this happen? My question to you. Second question is, did you know the code at the time for developing a parking lot? Third, were you certified to make that decision at the time? To determine that's a legal structure. Moving on. My mother spoke to council on August 14, 2023, to inform me that the concern had the potential for a future surface water runoff issue that was going onto our property. At that meeting, code enforcement was asked by the borough manager to follow up with information that the code required. Code enforcement has not followed with me and my mother regarding this issue at the parking lot, nor have we heard from them. It's probably been over 2 years. Since August 24, 2024, I was under the impression that code enforcement was working with a solicitor to remedy the situation. Were you ever made aware of the requirements for developing a parking lot? If yes, it's no. If you found out the codes and did nothing until now, because you're waiting until we had an issue 2 years later, what does that say about your initiative, motivation, or reason to be here, and the weight and efforts you've displayed toward our issues? During the last 2 years, we have had 2 parking lots developed in this town, Dr. Bigley and Tim Carson. The standard for the code enforcement is live there. You killed Dr. Bigley's parking lot. So, I can see a little more.
Yeah, I had,
I can address that during mine too, because it's already been an issue on my.
my question went to,
What's that?
weren't you here last month or month before? And this was all discussed and it was going to be handled?
It was discussed, but what my question is, several concerns pop up. One is, going back to my original point right now, is Tim Carson and Dr. Bigley had their parking lot to code. This one was not to code. It was overlooked for the last 2 years. Why was it overlooked for the last 2 years? Why
Square
were
footage is an issue. Square footage, Rex has been needing, stormwater plan,
they, all right,
so the square footage, that's
I
one.
understand that. So, Steve, did you see a violation when you were up there? Any violation whatsoever? The surface has to be concrete or asphalt per code. Barriers, markings, fencing, etc. Has to be there in the code too. Did you see any of those up there? You see a concrete circle?
Our committee members.
It is being addressed. Committee meetings.
Well,
All right,
no, all right, so I'll be back later.
all right. Um,
My name's Paul McLaughlin. I live at 119 Third Avenue in Scottdale. At the corner of Third Avenue and Baxter Streets stands a green post that once held a stop sign. Today, that sign is so faded, it is completely unreadable. This presents a serious and unacceptable safety hazard. On Friday, August 29th of this year at 4:20 p.m., I was walking my dog on a 6-foot leash near that intersection when a vehicle drove straight through without slowing down. With a stop sign in its current condition, it is impossible for drivers to know they are required to stop. This has been an ongoing issue and it puts both pedestrians and motorists at risk. It is only a matter of time before someone is injured. I strongly urge council to address this immediately. Given the traffic patterns in this area, I believe the intersection should also be considered a 4-way stop. I think it used to be at one time. In addition, many of the borough street signs in this area are faded and difficult to read. First responders rely on street signs and every minute matters in an emergency. The borough has taken steps to address this issue in the past, but the work remains incomplete. I respectfully request that council make these safety concerns a priority. The residents of Scottdale deserve safe streets and clear signage to protect both drivers and pedestrians. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
If it'll help Danny, as I was walking into the building tonight, I was stopped by another resident and with the same concern. So I just talked to Charity before the meeting and we will get it, we'll search it out and see what we can do at the, next committee meeting.
Okay.
In the meantime, if you have a concern with signs, you're more than welcome to call the borough office and the stop sign to be addressed. I wrote a grant last year for $235,000 in multimodal. We didn't get it. It's in dire need that we need those stop signs and whatnot, but we don't have the funds in the budget to buy them all at one time, $237,000. So if it's a stop sign or something that we have, obviously they have to make the sign if it's a street sign. There's not even a street sign on the street that I live on, so I get it. But anyone who has a concern can call down to the borough office for the stop sign. We do have some stop signs on hand and we'll gladly take care of that.
Okay, that'd be great.
All you have to do is make a phone call down here, let them know what's going on, and then there's no need to.
Do I still need to call you or you already know?
You can call the borough office. We know that this is, you just presented this here. I will
Yeah.
tell the street department to dig one out
Yeah.
and put it on there.
Okay.
However, for a street sign with names on it, special order thing.
Okay.
Remember, like I said, I did apply for a $200,000 grant. We
Yeah.
unfortunately didn't get it. We don't get them all. But we needed those signs. I tried to get those signs in the worst way. There's a lot of signs in town that are bad.
What? Third Avenue and Baxter.
On this. Yeah, Nancy tried to do it. I don't remember what the outcome was. Oh, historical.
What? We get my fault.
Just call down here and let her know that.
Okay.
As they call it.
Okay, I did not know that. Okay, I appreciate it.
Okay?
And there's pictures there for you guys to look at.
And like I said, it's funny that this just came up all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was stopped on my way in the building.
Yeah.
by another
Okay.
resident.
Well, I'll tell you, you're gonna solve this, I don't know who it was, man, woman, and I don't think they lived on the street. That's the other concerning thing is, they're not from around, they don't live on that street. And I'm telling you, that guy, whoever, I don't think they thought they had to stop. You cannot see anything. There's no merit of stop sign except the shape of it. So I appreciate it.
We'll get it, like you said, we'll get it looked into,
Okay,
okay?
okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, approval of payroll.
On our Somerset Trust account, the interest rate on 6 months, we did brand new one. According to the minutes, it should be 4.1, but on here it's 4.09. This one is correct.
Four point one is correct. That's the old one that's getting ready to expire.
No, this is the new one. 14 divided by.
The one that expires in February is 4.09. That's the one you're looking at.
On,
Your other page,
on our minutes, we have 4.1.
6 months CD, 4.1. 12 months, 4.0.
and the interest rate for the one that we the newest one we just made, they ended up, when we went and transferred it, they offered more interest whenever we submitted it.
What is it?
It's 4.23.
So what is the 6 months? 1, 2, 3. This is wrong.
It's which page are you looking at?
The minutes.
Oh, the minutes.
The minutes, we have 4.1.
That's what they offered at the minute when you guys
But
voted.
these should have been back.
This 4.2 came in after our meeting, so the minute meetings, they report them as the minutes. And,
But
I
but
mean,
this is what we voted on.
you can put that addition in, it's not problem.
Any other?
And then, on Gary's bills for, August 11th, Ron Stanzik again had a conversation with Gary. I'm not sure if he approved this.
I didn't know we had to.
Can't just pull up and Gary and charge $130, $104. Just
No. Hold on a second. We're on payroll. All right. Bring that up under the bill.
no.
We're on payroll right now. Need a motion to pay the payroll. Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Okay, now approval of the bills and late bills. Go ahead, Mary.
Ron Stanzik?
Mary, can I move your microphone, please? I'm going to ask all of you to. You're making
You're having a problem hearing me?
No.
I do need to know that.
I'm just questioning this August 11th. This kind of Veterans Memorial review. I don't remember that ever coming up in any committees or any meetings. So, no.
It came up in our committee meeting,
Pardon me.
that Veterans Memorial flag box came up in my committee meeting.
But this was about the mid-end lease.
Last month's meeting, Gary was gonna take over negotiating with Ms. Patton.
Mid-Penn wants a lease on. There's a lease in question, by mid, for the Veterans Memorial. And before we can accept the lease, the ground has to be surveyed. This is my understanding. The ground has to be surveyed before the lease can be signed. It's a 99-year lease. Okay, I'm assuming from what this saying, Dawn called Gary with that problem. Yeah.
my farming indicated that he was tied up, that he had some colleagues work. Uh, exponential lease for the Veterans Memorial Park. The lease was $1, 9 years, and it included the sort of service the Veterans Park. That's where we started. And the lease contained description of the property, or second contained a description of the property, even containing a restricted lease and bounds description, so you knew exactly what was where, and you knew what the area that was belonged to the borough was, and you also had if there were any encroachments onto the bank's property. The only problem was there wasn't a property description. There was a survey that was attached to the lease. So Don asked me to follow up with the folks at Midpen on his behalf, since he had been trying to reach out to them with success. Trying to get a hold of a fellow by the name of Chris Campagna from Midpen Bank to ask him about the survey, who was going to prepare the survey, so we could have some idea of what may be encroaching or not encroaching onto Midpen Bank's property. And I'm still waiting to hear back from Chris Campagna. So the conversations about Stacy was able to give me a copy of the lease. I was in Urban at that point in time. So let's see where we are.
Okay?
All right. Question. So we have a veterans park that is encroaching upon business property, is that correct?
We don't know that. That's the issue. That's why the survey is necessary.
Okay, so my question goes back years ago when we first had this project. What's it that all cleared up then? Why is it all of a sudden an issue?
That's a real good question, because we never thought that there was a problem. My understanding is that Midpen sent out surroundings, and that's all I know. I don't know that there is an encroachment. I thought everything was within limits. It's been that way now for a long time. I don't know what the nature of the extent of the encroachment is. So that's why we wanted to make sure that there was going to be a survey showing what the area of encroachment is. We thought everything was within the limits that were going to be approved. This is the first time we were hearing about this on August 11th. That was the first time I became aware.
Because didn't originally, the chamber put up the big arch? It wasn't the chamber somehow involved in that property too? When the arch, there's the large arch that's there, the black arch. And that was done with the chamber, so even back then, that was prior to there was even the Veterans Park. It's just, to me, it just seems odd that all of a sudden this issue cropped up.
It was odd to me also. So that's why we're reaching out to Mr. Campagna to see what the issue actually is, and to see what survey may be disclosed. I don't know that there is an encroachment. That until survey was performed.
I believe everybody got a copy of the lease in their packet. And yeah, last month. And we tabled it last month to get this survey done. Now, I don't know who's supposed to get it done, but I have yet to hear the first word that it was done. It wasn't.
I'm not objecting to the lease, I'm not objecting to the survey, I'm just questioning
Why wasn't it done?
this all of a sudden happens like years after the fact.
I agree with you, but I can't answer that. I wasn't.
Well, in the future, we should make sure that this doesn't happen with any other properties or any development.
Right. Agree with you. Okay, any other question on that?
I'm just gonna pay the bills and lay bills.
Second.
Question on the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Managers review in the executive session. Under general government, we have the public speaking resolution. You want to read your,
Yes. At the last meeting of council, August, took it upon myself for a resolution. The resolution is a resolution to extend the 2 public comment periods for those that are in attendance of council meetings. It's to extend the limit from 3 minutes, to 5 minutes. The way the resolution is written, the resolution part or resolve for adoption is that Scottdale Borough Council amends 2 public comment periods for those in attendance of regularly monthly meetings of council to 5 minutes to address council at either or both public comment periods. In accordance with the decor for conducting the meeting of council, the president of council shall be able to either extend the time or limit the time of public comment to the 5-minute period. That is the resolution that I put for council, and I would make the motion for adoption of this resolution.
second on the motion?
I'll second it.
Like to speak before the vote's taken? Sorry, right?
Can't wait. Tell me it's not allowed.
Do y'all not know it's not allowed? Mr. Solicitor?
Anybody from the members that are here when we're taking a vote, they can address us.
I need the help on that.
They can address us on the vote.
Can I give y'all a piece of paper?
Yeah.
Just for, I'm sorry, I'm trying to put water in there. And these little private. Okay, I know y'all tired of seeing me, and I promised if y'all put it up for vote, this would be the last time. The reason why I am showing you this piece of paper is because, a very wise councilman, who I've been going tit for tat, and it's okay that we have different opinions on this, but said everything needs to be done in committee meetings. That's where you can talk the most, that's where you can get things done, and I wholeheartedly agree with the council person. However, if you're looking at this agenda for the 2 meetings for safety and protection this week that I was at in council, and also the, government, there's not much meat to these agendas, and there's no blight on protection for some reason. Now, you know, the citizens that did show up for the meeting, this meeting took about 15 minutes, and then we sat for 45 minutes because we had to back up because there was a holiday on Monday. Usually Mickey and Mary's meeting is not on the same day, so we did patiently, and we were fine with it, and even council, everybody was fine with it. But I am merely asking for 300 seconds. And I know I say it in seconds because it sounds so silly to say 300 seconds. So I am asking, thank you for putting it on the floor, and thank you, Ms. Robson, for seconding it. I'm asking for your votes tonight. Throw us a bone. We need it right now. It's not much of an ask. I'm not asking for 15 minutes. I'm not asking for 10. I'm asking for 300 seconds. That's it. Thank you for your time, and I would appreciate it. Yeah. I want 300 seconds.
I said thank you too. Thank you for making that decision.
Anybody else? Okay, take a vote.
Mr. President, at this time I request resolution started.
All right, roll call vote. Mrs. Yeager,
Yes.
Mrs. Colbank,
No.
Mr. Prinsky,
Yes.
Mrs. Robson,
No.
Mr. Capetti,
No.
Mr. Pronowski,
No.
Mr. Sewell,
No.
5 noes, 2 yes, motion fails. Three noes, or 3 noes.
Okay. Next, under the, general government, the lease, like inspector shouldn't even be on here, it was a mistake. And, the junior council info, all that is, we're going to be taking applications from the high school students, any junior or senior student is eligible, and then they'll submit an application, and then, we'll look at it and pick which one we want, or which one is the best. Other than that, that's all under the general government.
All right, public service, garbage advertisement, the committee's working forward to, motion to, last month we said we wanted to put the advertisement out for bid. We are going to have the advertisement put out for bid so that we can open it at our committee meeting, to get numbers so that we have something ready for October 13th council meeting. Letter B is the crosswalk at the Scottdale Everson Bridge. I did, have Stacy send PennDOT a letter. PennDOT came back with a, response that they are going to put a freeway stop at the Everson Bridge. They are furnishing the stop signs, so that is coming forward. Once PennDOT puts that in place, there'll be a freeway stop from the Everson Bridge, going from north and south as well. Letter C is Mr. Karnowski, speed signs. I think he talked about in his committee meeting. We're just looking for a location for the speed signs so that we can have our department move those. And I think he can address that during.
I wasn't at the meeting, but I did speak to Officer get with you remember what?
He said on Broadway South Broadway coming in from Dawson, near St. John's, would be a good location.
And then we're gonna leave it like that.
Okay.
And that, speed sign at the Bucks Park, it doesn't record anybody coming off of Arthur. And there's a tree in the way, so you really don't even see it right away. Is there any way you could move it down a little further? I think it would register better.
It has to be near another sign because that's how they anchor it so no one steals it. So I can have him see where the next sign is that's closest to it, yeah. It was, I had to trim the trees because the trees were blocking the solar panel and it wasn't working in the first place, so we can do that, it's not a problem.
Yeah, I
Do
think
you want to
that- I think
leave it in
would
the
help.
same way, same direction? Or do you want it coming up Chestnut Street,
I think it's better.
same direction, so on the same side of the street, just further down where it has a little bit more light? You good with that? All right, the recycling truck is broke. The froster is not working, and this time of the year, when you get your car in the morning, you have to use the defroster so that you can see out the front window. It's an excess of $5,000 to fix it. Stacey, do you have the exact amount?
$5,576.24.
We talked in the committee meeting of possibly taking it from line item 435, 245, 438, and 440. Stacy was gonna let us know if that was, indeed the locations that we could take it from.
We got locations 435, 245 for $1,000, 440, 245 for $1,500, and 446 and 313 for $3,200.
Okay, so there's our total amount. We didn't budget for it, but on the same sense, just so the public knows, this recycling truck was gotten with a grant along with the recycling building 30-some years ago, and we are stuck in an agreement that we have to continue to collect. Not that it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's just the truck breaks down a lot, it costs the borough a lot of money. So we'll have to look to see what it is. Hopefully with the advertisement, the garbage advertisement, we do have an additional piece in there that will allow us to do recycling. Again, the last time we did our garbage advertisement, it was more expensive for them to do the recycling, but we're looking at other options like them doing the billing or a third party doing the billing or our office doing the billing to try to save our residents money. So the recycling truck, my motion is to move forward and pay the $5,576.24 with those three accounts.
Could you repeat those accounts again, Stacy?
435, 245, 440, 245, and 446, 313.
They're cost,
It's on your,
thing will
it's
work.
in your packet.
Yeah, I know, but
So we've had them look at it multiple times. We're to the point now where we have to do it this time of the year. It's come up a couple times in our committee. We pushed it off because of the summer. We didn't need it. Now it's coming to the point where we have it. So we got a motion.
Yes, second on the motion. Yeah. Okay, any question on the motion? All in favor? Questions? Oh, okay, no, I thought we did that. Okay, opposed? I don't know. Okay,
Okay, letter E is an LSA grant. Last month we talked about the needs of the police car. Last police car's on its last leg and they don't think it's gonna pass the next state inspection. So I am in the process of writing for the LSA grant for the amount of $63,184. The application does require a $100 deposit or an application fee. So at this point, I'm making a motion that we are able to apply for that, and that would include the $100 application fee.
question on the motion?
I will add that that window is September 1st to November 30th. They have not awarded LSAs from last year yet, but it's supposed to happen anytime now. So it may not be right away if this car comes, or if we don't get it, there's that option too. But
So I have a question, Charity. If you get any money from the LSA grant now, is that money gonna go to the parks or would it go to the police?
when you write a grant, it goes to the grant that you wrote. There's two grants out there. One of them is Barfield Park. It's $200 and some $1,000 to renovate the tennis courts, walkway, trim the tree because the tree branch and roots are what's routing up the concrete pavement, like basically an overhaul.
Yeah.
The second one is for Fowles Park. It's a splash pad, kind of like New Stanton and Connellsville have. And that's also for 200 and some thousand. That has not been awarded yet. And we think in the next month or two, Steve, that they should be awarded. I don't know if we or get it or not. Those are out. So this will be for the next phase, phase around.
I think the car will last that long.
We don't really much have an option, I don't think. We have some money in the police cruiser, but the 63,000 is on the higher side, but my concern would be cost of everything going up between now and then, just to make sure that we're covering the upfitting costs. I mean, we have two cars now and one person on duty during the day, so just got it inspected, so we have like a year to figure that out. We did that last month.
No, we didn't, yeah. Okay. Motion by Charity, second, by Maren. To,
For the LSA grant, I'm the LSA grant, the $100 application.
It's not on this page.
It is, it's letter B.
Okay, those in favor?
Right.
Opposed?
Okay, look, the one that's not on there, and Mr. Jameson addressed us, was last month, Mr. Jameson came to the committee meeting. We had Steve go out there and meet with Dr. Gretz. They are putting, a plan in place. I'm sure Steve can talk about in his, report later on. There's a timeline when that has to be completed. When the initial permit was asked for. I think it was asked for after the project was completed and the correct permit was not obtained. However, the stormwater wasn't an issue at that point in time. Since then, we've had torrential downpours that needs to be taken care of. So we are moving forward with Jameson's concerns. Steve has talked to the owner and he is complying to the needs that he must comply with. So it's not on the agenda because I don't have a solution as a date, dead stop date, but Steve can elaborate that at the end here. That's all I have.
I have a question. And
Yes.
it's just a question today. There was some stuff at the intersection of Chestnut. Anybody know what they did? What they were doing there?
Water authority in the road, the paving.
I don't know. I left early this morning, but they had the road for the block of Marker Avenue was blocked, you know, understandably because of construction. It appeared to me that they were manhole.
Yeah,
So the water authority owns the sewage lines.
Yeah, I understand. I just
It's not the borough that's in that, so it's probably the water authority.
I just wanted to know if anybody knew. Because we have a sidewalk. It's on North Chestnut. That sidewalk is a safety hazard unless it's been repaired.
That also
It has not.
That's also been put in through code enforcement, and I believe it's in.
Okay. Section committee.
Under line item A, civil service appointees, I would like to make a motion to appoint James Williams.
Motion by Matt, second by Caden to accept the proposal of James Williams for service. Question on the motion? Okay, those in favor? Opposed? No.
Under line item 2, I'd like to make a motion for the return.
Okay, motion by Matt, second by Caden to accept the, Nick Thomas back onto the Civil Service Commission. Question on the motion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Under line item B,
Before we go forward, what happened to the commission?
I'm gonna get with them.
It's Kate and I both.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and the reason why I'm saying this is last time we had some issues, we would, and council members are permitted to serve the service. And we had a council member. We could clarify that. So when all of this took place, just understand. That's
Microphone, please.
I'm going to come forward with them over here. Line item B, the officer Whitaker came forward as all the things, as well as Mr. Zelenek about current gun racks in the police cars. I would say they're a bit outdated. I'm making a motion. I got a quote from Mr. Zelenek for $540. From line item 10-241, we have $1,094. New gun rack.
What's the price?
540.
The bill here says 548.
548. 548. Correction.
Okay.
Have the car in there.
Motion by Nat, second by Charity. Pay the bill. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Wait, update.
Here,
Okay.
yep, go ahead.
So first on Wellspring. After the last meeting, received a estimate of the cost to remove certain of the environmental issues from the site, mostly trucks containing fluids and other fluids according to DEP standards. That estimate came $7,500. We sent it over to DEP to came with nothing. Some of the materials behind to have on future during any rehabilitation. We received, I received today, this morning, generally okay with the proposing, but they would prefer to PCB containing waste and also address the nature-based remediation site. So that's at least apparently team up. We have to send a copy of this, I'm sorry, picture and touching. I received a copy of this email as well. So they need to adjust the rest of it to include the other so we're providing information that number. So this is probably increase that $7,000 diamond is going to. So in the end, Stacy, Brian March, Captain, Stacy was going about county's involvement. The county indicated it would be willing to get involved in the project. Building was demolished in its entirety. Second, or something else.
Excuse me, could we ask the solicitor to speak up and begin again when he's talking about the county involvement? I can't hear. You can speak for anyone else.
Okay.
Could he begin again with the part with talking about the county?
Gary, can you start again with the county part?
So initially, we approached the county to get involved as the conservator over this. They did not want to do that for a couple of reasons. Number one is that land is not an easement for the property. According to its title, and they did not want to deal with that. Second, there were concerns about the issues property. They will see some remediation site before they would agree to well. So essentially what we did here is to remedy those two issues. Okay, so to that end, we entered into communications to build a model borough's property. The paying borough rent for the city area My understanding is that they're going to wrap on that project sometime, next week, later this week. So under the agreements in there with Diamond, they would be relocated, or cause AT&T to relocate the telecommunications antenna that were on the roof of the Wellspring Church building. My last conversation was with the folks from Diamond. They were trying to expedite that process and hopefully get AT&T to move their antenna over onto the new monopole within a month or two after this is constructed. They weren't sure how AT&T was going to do that because the roof is in pretty bad condition, and according to them and the photos that the Diamond sent over, nobody can walk on it, so they would need to bring a crane in to remove their equipment. So that's a logistic matter that they would have to deal with at AT&T. But the agreement we have with Diamond is that once those antenna are removed, then Diamond will vacate its easement over the property. So that takes care of the first hurdle that the county was setting up for their involvement. The second hurdle with respect to the environmental concerns we were attempting to resolve through Gotcha. And we are in the process of doing that. However, in recent communication or email exchange between Brian Lawrence from the county and Chatfield, Stacy and I, they may want to take a different tack. They believe they can get funding for the demolition of the building, and that would include funding for the removal of environmental waste from the property. However, they discussed the necessity to do both a phase 1 and phase 2 environmental study on the property to get some idea of what the nature and the extent of the problem is before they would make the commitment, and before they would be able to identify the level of commitment they were willing to make. So they asked about going to the property in order to get access to the property. I told them we didn't need that because we already had an order from Judge Shearer that allows the borough to let people onto the site, including DEP, and the county as our assigns under the terms of the order of court or our agents under the order of court to go into the property. So Stacy and I have a teleconference scheduled with Brian Lawrence and Hallie Chatfield on the 18th to discuss the project, to discuss their involvement and go forward. And if that is the case, and the property and the county will get involved, that the building will come down, and the county is able to handle the demolition through some type of grant funds that they pay us an eligibility for, then it would seem to be superfluous and repetitive to use the $30,000 that Diamond was going to contribute to do an interim fix. And in the communications that we had with Brian Lawrence, there was a discussion about whether or not the $30,000 could be applied to assume some soft costs associated with demolition. And that is certainly doable. We started into a three-way agreement with Diamond a couple of weeks ago. We were starting to circulate it around. We were just waiting for the DEP to come in and approve the discussion proposal to remove these items. So what we're looking at now is sort of a quick pivot to maybe getting the structure demolished in its entirety. I know that I was advised, I think it was last week, maybe the week before last, that World Music went out to take a look at the property. He has his opinions about its viability. And whether or not it can be rehabilitated or not, or whether or not it's cost effective, I guess, to rehabilitate it. I guess that would be the big question. That's probably the question the county has at this point in time too. So my suggestion is going to be, let's put the plan A on hold. Let Stacy and I talk to Brian Lawrence and folks at the county, next week as scheduled. Let's see if we can get them into the site to do a phase 1, phase 2 environmental. If they say that's fine and everything's copacetic and they will look for funding to remove the building, then we can have them appointed as a conservator of the site. and work with the county to get the building down and to rehab the vacant space. So that's sort of where we are at this point in time. Once we talk to the folks at the county level, then we'll be able to report back to the members of council. We can do that via email, and then council is going to have some sufficient information at that point in time to make some determinations on which way they want to go with this project. If under any, especially if the county is going to get involved, we're probably going to wind up just boarding up the building altogether after AT&T gets its equipment off of the roof and shut it down, and just make sure that it's posted so that nobody should enter into that building under any circumstances or be near it until we can work our way through the county demolition funds and see how we're going to get funding for the demolition of the structure. So that's sort of where we are with Wellspring, and Stacy and I will have more to report back to council following our meeting on the 18th. On the Mount Pleasant Road property, we did get an order from Judge Smale. The judge continued to find the owner of the property in contempt. Because she has just not appeared for anything, the judge imposed a $10,000 fine against her, civil penalty of $10,000. Also awarded the borough all of its council fees, cost and expenses associated with the property, and authorized us to collect the debt through any manner that would be available to the borough. So that includes the quickest way to do it is to file a municipal claim against the property. It is essentially the entry of the judgment. That can be done relatively quickly. Once we serve the owner with a copy of the order of court that was entered under the Municipal Claims Collection Practices Act, after the municipal claim is filed and served upon the property owner, we can do something called filing out something called a res cura facie. And what that does is it requires the property owner to respond within 15 days to vacate the judgment that would be entered by virtue of the following municipal claim. If that does not occur, then we can move straight to a writ of to get a writ of execution without executing against the property and acquire it. And it's my understanding that the borough or other entities associated with the trails may have some use of that property. So that case is moving along, and we'll just continue to move forward as quickly as possible. But that's sort of where we are at this point in time on that one. So that case is moving forward. And then the other three items, the sheets, the FEMA, and the fake building. I think I recommended an attorney to Andy to get to the people who are interested. I know there was an email from Andy about that, about moving forward with that. If that under any set of circumstances, the buildings are going to have to at least be exposed to an auction sale if anybody is interested in them. I know that the Mid-Penn Bank, to the extent that they have any liens against the property, are willing to release them. But I just don't know where the potential interested parties are with the purchase. Maybe Andy has some additional information along those lines.
Well, Mr. President, I think to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah, you're going to talk about sheep.
Okay, as far as sheets go, I'm asking council, I'll reach back out to Solomon Jackson. He had assured me, reported to council, they were going to clean that up, weeds, and do things, like the parking lot, put the barricades up. Nothing as far as it's been done.
I haven't noticed it.
So my question would be, if council would permit me to reach out to him and ask him, when is this going to take place? If not, have our code enforcement for property maintenance issue what is necessary for that property. And also to find out exactly what their intention was, what they told me about the long-term lease that they were making So we can have something here in front of this board, this council, to tell our residents what's going on with that particular piece of property. So does council give me that leeway to go ahead and do that?
We need a motion for that.
You should need a motion, I think, for that.
I don't have a problem with it. Does anybody have a problem with it on council? Go for it.
Okay. As far as the feed mill and the ink building, my two investors, I don't know, Gary may be able to answer this also to me. Their concern, Gary, was that if they placed a bid in, they were hoping they could put the bid in directly with the bankruptcy judge, like some other people have done with some properties. Because if they put something in, somebody comes in, overrides them or whatever, then what happens there? But you're saying that the potential might be now for option on it. I mean, these two gentlemen are interested in securing the building.
Yeah, I don't do bankruptcy work. And I thought that they were going to reach out to Attorney Schmizzy.
They did.
And what did he tell them?
They did. Well, that's what he was saying was, put your offer in, okay, with no kind of guarantee. I thought they were going to be able to deal with this attorney directly with the bankruptcy judge. I could be wrong about this, Gary, but I've heard in other cases that they go directly to the bankruptcy judge, and as long as like the banks don't have any problems with any liens or anything against it, the bankruptcy judge wants to clean this up, the banks do, and they take the offer. I guess I'm wrong.
That may very well be the case. I just having people rely on what Attorney Schmizzy is telling them.
Okay.
Not going to get anywhere until they put in a bid somewhere. And maybe there's something lost in communication here. What you would do, my understanding what you would do is you would make a bid or proposal to the trustee in bankruptcy to purchase the property. And then that would generate a filing by the trustee in bankruptcy with the bankruptcy judge to approve this.
Okay, then what I'm going to do is I will reach out to them and get in contact with them, and we'll try to proceed that. Okay, proceed that with the listener that you gave me the reference to.
Yeah, I mean, he knows what he's doing. So I do not do that kind of work.
Neither do I.
So I would rely on whatever Attorney Schmizzy has to say.
Okay, and the last thing, Mr. President, too, is I don't want to promise anything yet. But I am trying to work on something to go into the Rite Aid building. Okay, there's nothing right now that's really definite to report to council, but we have to do something to get this town, to get businesses back in this town.
I agree. We need a pharmacy in this town.
We need a lot of things.
Andy, I do have a question. Who owns that building, right?
Bill, there's owners of the building. I believe it's a doctor and maybe some other people, but the way that was set up with Rite Aid with that building, Rite Aid was leasing that building. The lease expires in November. If somebody walked in there tomorrow to take ownership or not ownership, but into that building, they would have to assume the rest of that lease that Rite Aid had with them, and then they have to renegotiate a new lease in November. The real issues at hand here, if you may just give me a minute or two, okay, it's like the Sheets building, and I'm going to address our residents here and that building. The people that were in those buildings were paying a considerable amount of money for the lease. And if we're looking at local merchants or people, that are here within the town, they're not going to be able to afford that kind of money for the start of a business or be in those buildings. So you have a choice then. Either they do something like try to divide the building up and put several businesses in there, or come to realization that you have to lower the price in order to make it feasible for the rest of us in this town. But one way or the other, if we don't start getting businesses in here, where it's not gonna look good 5 years down. the road, that's for sure. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
No problem. If I can, before we move to park, I'm kind of happy about the results of the, publishing house. But I do have one thing to keep in mind. Merle does not have an engineering degree and said that he would defer to a structural engineer's opinion. So I'm happy that he sees what he sees, but I just, we don't have, like I said, we don't have a structural engineer's opinion.
We haven't yet. It's been 10 years.
Pardon me?
We haven't yet. It's been 10 years. Nothing's changed. We have not had anybody certified to check this.
Right, that's what I'm
So
saying.
we're heading in the right direction finally.
Right, I think we are. I do think we are. Okay. That was just my own personal question. All right, Parks and Recreation.
You might just follow up on that, real quickly.
Yeah.
I think that, regardless of an opinion about whether or not the building can be rehabilitated or structurally sound or isn't structurally sound, the principal concern is whether or not you're going to be able to get an entity like the county, the redevelopment authority or the land bank actually involved. Okay.
Right.
So, if they are saying we will get involved if the building is torn down, but we will not get involved if you want us to come in and try to do something to rehabilitate it. Okay. So then you have sort of like a choice the council has to make to say, well, even though this thing might be able to be rehabilitated, it may take 10 years to get somebody to come in and rehabilitate it. What's the cost of that going to be? Okay. So it may be a decision that is made not necessarily based on an engineering decision, but a decision that would be made based on the availability of funding and the willingness of the county to get in on a reuse project. So, like I said, I know that we've been operating on one set of facts. Now there are others floating around out there, and we're not sure who's wrong, who's right, whatever the case may be, but you may not need to reach that determination. So that's, like I said, I think that right now you're sitting on sort of like the best of both worlds. You're going to be able to resolve this issue one way or another. But let's see what the county wants to do on the 18th and go from there. But I think you're in a better position.
We need a report on, is this building structurally sound? Like this building means a lot to a lot of people. Before it gets torn down, before it gets rehabilitated or whatever the case is, like, can we have any report with the actual, like a resident said last month, that it shouldn't be based on the finances of it, it's the ordinances. Is this building safe? Is it structurally sound or is it not?
Okay. Nobody has determined that.
Exactly. So that's what
That's what I'm saying about, the things. Two people have looked at it. One says it's not sound, the other one says it is. It's possible.
I only know one person looking at it, so. Who's the second person? We know Steve looked at it. He said two people.
Merle and Mercy are,
Was there a report on this? Maybe?
there's no report on it.
Well, you're referencing a letter.
Pardon me?
You're referencing a letter. Is that for?
I'm referencing, an email from Gary
Okay.
of the conversation.
Well, we haven't had a structural engineer look at it, have we?
No, and that's what I'm trying to point out.
Right, so that's a good point, but I think that's what we need.
I agree. I don't have a problem. I'm just saying that we don't have a structural engineer. Okay, Gary.
The bottom line, though, is that, let's presume that a structural engineer would come in and say, yes, it needs torn down. Okay, it
Right.
can't survive. Then we would be working with the county, to try to do demolition. And then, the structural engineer comes in and says, well, it can be rehabilitated. And the county says, well, we're not interested in that type of a project. Okay, then, it's not going to matter what a structural engineer says. The bottom line is to get this building into the hands of an entity that can address all of the issues that are associated with it. Okay, so that's the bottom line. And if the county is willing to take going over under certain terms and arrange for its removal, and that can be done in a relatively expeditious fashion, and we can work through the court system through the Conservatorship Act to do that, then it wouldn't matter, and if that's what council wants to do, it's really not going to matter what a structural engineer says or doesn't say. At least in my mind, that would be my advice to council. But let's see what the county wants to do.
I agree. We have had an engineer, I'm not sure if, what kind of engineer, say for years that it's structurally sound. I agree with Mr. Falichovich, move in the direction that he's proposing. I do too.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, again, Steve may be absolutely. Okay. And, in my conversations with Merle, he did say that he would defer. He said, hey, the building inspector, it looks bad. He said, but I'm not an engineer. So, the bottom line is, I hate to put it this way, but it really doesn't matter, whether it's sound or isn't sound. If you can get, this building into the hands of an entity who actually has the, financial and, wherewithal and the resources to address the demolition of the building and the rehabilitation of the site, then, by all means, I would suggest jumping on that horse, and riding it. But that's where we are. So it doesn't matter if there's a difference of opinion, we're looking more than the end result. I'm looking more than the end result.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Charity.
All right, Laux Pavilion, electric, we had, the picnic in the park was concerned, we actually had arcing on the building. Somehow or another, the electric was removed from the edge of the building. They had to come in and repair it, it was $200 and some. My motion is to use the parks budget to repair that electric, to pay the bill to Suter.
Second your motion.
That's for $426.
That was 200, was it?
426. Okay. Motion by Terry, second by Andy. Question on the motion? Those in favor? Motion carried. Okay. Anything else to take Springs watershed? Okay, flood control,
No. MS4, yes.
MS4.
We need a motion to have, MS4 report signed by 9/30/2025.
The report right now, but I'll need a signature button.
My motion is to have it signed.
I'm sorry, I can't hear what you guys are saying.
MS4 report is due by 9/30/25. We need to sign it, so my motion is for us to sign the MS4 report.
Second.
Question on the report. I mean, is everything in compliance with what we need to have?
Not really compliance, they did the compliance when they come in, crazy, and, we did open that earlier this year, and we upgraded your binder, so if you are. This is just the annual, report on the monitoring of the outfall.
Okay, so it's the monitoring report,
Yeah.
or anything else, because we still have a lot of
Yeah.
stuff we have to take care of.
Yeah.
Right, our stormwater and sewage separation is still
Still out there.
in
And
entirety.
we do have a proposed win, but nobody's going to cancel whether that, the option behavior will be sufficed.
Okay, on that right there, they address that to our engineer is, since our sewage is now in the hands of the municipal water authority on that, are they going to jump into the game for us with that?
They're, what they have is totally separate.
Okay,
They're all falls on, we don't.
okay, so I'm talking not so much on the outfalls, but on anything that we be looking at on stormwater sewage separation. They're not
That's
gonna
on us. That's why we can't spend the funds because we could be in DEP compliance.
be deep, so.
Correct.
So what we need to do is, that's one of the things that I'm just asking is to make this an address, even in a form of some sort of boroughs are under the same gun. You can write something up, also another resolution to put forth the PSAB to take this to the legislators, okay? So that we don't have to absorb all that type of cost on that right there.
You know, they're gonna come back and like, the municipalities have a stormwater fee that they're collecting. to
Right.
Do this, and that's their answer to everybody
That-
right now. saying,
That might be their answer right now. See, I'm just saying, the more people that put forth towards this, then the legislators may have a different ear to listen. It's worth the effort. It really is, rather than us, and more so these people out here paying that bill.
It'll work.
That's a concern with the sewage authority funds, why I hate to spend anything more than we have to, because we will get tagged from DEP, and we do have 3 locations identified right now that have to be separated.
I'm
from
not,
stormwater, right?
I'm not having an argument
No.
with you, Council. What I'm saying is that we need the legislators to
To back
step up their
Right,
game
right.
so that we are not in this situation. Because down the road, okay, as I said, we have those funds that are in here, but down the road, eventually, we don't want to have a sewage, users fee for anything for stormwater. And it's going to put the burden on the people sitting out here in this audience. And a lot of that stormwater runoff is from State Highway 819. It traverses through the middle of our town. Okay, I've been on a soapbox enough.
Okay, those in favor of the motion? Opposed?
The one voter.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, motion's carried. Okay, community development, CDBG, 2025 fund allocation.
So we were given a map where these places lie, and we looked at roads that are in need because we haven't paved this year. And today we had a response back from Ben that he can't approve those roads even though they're within his map.
Are they within or that?
They are within that ward and he can't approve it, so I didn't have anything nice to say back, but
He did come, I mean, we're trying to figure out what he
wants us to survey the block, which, and Angelo can tell you this, we surveyed the block years ago when we had to. However, when that entire ward is considered or rated that area, we don't have to survey the block. So I think our best bet at this point would be to allocate them to pave, unless somebody here has a better idea, but because we didn't pave this year, we may not pave because they close in October. However, what we drafted up with the roads that were dire need were rejected today, just so council knows that. I think maybe we need to look at the CDBG person that's in charge of that moving forward to find something that's maybe a better fit, but
What she's saying is that let them, they have a map, tell them, just so we don't lose, because we don't have this done by the next hearing date,
yes.
we lose $97,000 for funds. So,
Let's put a title of
let them pick
paving on it.
just whatever roads that they will agree, to pave, as long as it's in that 97,000 or, you know, I like to be real, we go over $1,000 or something, but we want to use that money up and council approve whatever roads that they'll say pave, we send it to the second hearing and everything moves on.
because if we don't approve anything tonight, basically the second hearing won't have any roads on it and you'll lose $97,000. That would move forward.
I think the motion should be to move forward with paving, and I'll fight the battle on the council side as to what roads need it. We don't just want to pave a road. Work with Steve on it to find what roads we are, just so that we can have the application put together, so that we don't lose the funds.
I would move forward in that recommendation.
So my motion, are you gonna second my motion?
Oh, you're motioning, I was motioning. You said-
Then I'll second your motion.
Okay.
Now, I'm really.
Andy motions and I second to move forward with CDBG for paving.
Okay, all right.
Otherwise, we'll lose $97,000, and I'm not interested in.
Okay, those in favor of a question on the motion? Okay, those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Okay, the CDBG, MBE, company of BE, whatever all that is.
Standard procedure, just a standard procedure, yeah.
Okay,
Minority bill, what is it?
so we need a motion on this?
Minority and women business enterprises.
Okay,
I'll motion.
Charity made the motion, second.
Second.
Mary Robinson. Question on the motion?
Just the question is, and this is why I'll probably vote against this, is we don't have enough local minority or women-owned businesses for some of these projects. What do we,
We just need to take it into consideration.
well, we can take it into consideration.
That's standard for all grant applications as well.
Yeah, but the way it's written in the plan, you read it, it does state something to that effect.
Okay, those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
I oppose with Andy.
Two. Okay,
Well, if any of the ladies out here or anybody else wants to open a business. All in favor?
Make a motion that we accept the Westmoreland County Tax Collection Committee appointees.
wait, a question on that.
change.
We
We need
change yours
change on there.
Angela, yours. Yeah.
Angela's name is on there, your name is on there, and my name. Do we, Angela, instead of
We need
calling,
to change from Angela.
the way I'm reading it, it's for a minute.
With the change. with
Okay. Okay,
the-
all right, got it. One question. All right. Question on the motion?
Do we, the appointment, okay, on this, is what I understand is you can appoint a citizen too to be on. Somebody that's employed by the borough or elected official. I could be wrong about that, but I think that you can have citizens.
Is there somebody that wants it?
Well, Mr. Pavilion is a citizen. Right? So,
Yeah.
So we could keep the appointment as is.
The way I read it, it calls for the borough manager.
Oh, okay, well, that's what I'm asking.
It says delegate, which is within the borough, then you have an alternate and then a second alternate.
Yeah, but,
Mickey happens to be the first alternate. I would put on there as a second alternate because nobody else would take it. You want
right,
it?
no, I don't want it. I'm saying it doesn't have to be one of us sitting on council. It could be somebody out in that audience too, or somebody else.
Okay, well, the motion was made to add Stacy, myself, and Jerry.
That's fine, and I, second on the motion?
No.
Second.
All right. Question on the motion?
Money is between.
We answered that. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Can I make a motion, we allow the elk run, but do we have a time? Maybe on the little thing, but I can't see it.
No, that's just an old letter. She did not give the time yet.
So I guess pending in time, we have to wait till next month, maybe. Does the old letter have a time?
December 6th.
It used, last year it was in the morning. Yeah.
Why don't we wait till we tend to hear time? We can
Well,
wait
the
till.
permit for the road is the issue.
Oh, it is?
I would assume so, because
Yeah.
when we do parades, that's the issue.
Well, then why don't we set a time?
How about we say before noon?
Yeah,
Can we
it was
say,
before noon last year.
I was gonna say, can we just say same as last year?
That,
What was last year's time then?
it's 9, 8 or 9.
Okay, and set the time for the same time as 2020.
Okay. Question on the motion?
I'll second that motion.
Not the way it was going. Thank you. Question on the motion then?
Are you good with putting that?
Those in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
For the next one.
Okay.
All right, the Geyer Theater has reached out and they're asking the borough to provide a letter of support for them to obtain a performance liquor license. They're in the process of doing a lot of renovations down there and we have the new theater and sound system and projectors set up. And now they are working with the Liquor Control Board to obtain a liquor license. So they're asking for borough support, a letter of support to help them achieve that.
I'm good, are we good with it when Gary's in?
Gary, are we okay to do that?
Yes.
Motion.
Second. Okay, question then, who, does the letter come from the mayor or does the letter come from us from council, the president council?
It would be letter of from council.
From council?
Mhm.
Okay, that was my question.
Okay.
Motion, Katie.
Yeah, I got it. I think I better get on here. Those vote, yeah, those in favor,
Aye.
those opposed. Motion carried. Okay, this, some of them.
All right, last week I, joined a Zoom call class for DCED budget, and they covered a lot of the ways, QuickBooks budgeting and how the DCED audit is done and ways to match up your budget to the DCED audit. I'll be continuing with a class tomorrow in Greensburg, and then at the end of the month, part 2 of the DCED online class, and that's all free at the end of the month. So that's just a little update.
Okay. Engineers report.
An update on their manhole on Broadway, still getting, applying for permit for the railroad for down the sheets. We did have sewage authority come out, dig up the manhole right up there around the bend. We do have 3 catch basins that tie in there. So, I like to get, I had the Sooner and Sons on standby to go in there. They want that one done as soon as possible. So we'll close down half the road, lower them guy down in there and he'll mix up the mortar and seal up the manhole, with the 3 pipes that come in there. Sewage authority is happy with that. So, rough cost, we're looking at around $5,000, to get those 3 sealed up. But it's mainly time and material. He said that's roughly the cost of getting all the water from it. Pretty well, I'd like to get those, at least get those out of the way. The railroad and.
We have the one sewage fund Now,
Yeah.
I would say we pay it out of that.
Mhm.
So we're thinking 5,000?
We have the money then. Okay,
And for Broadway, I can make a motion that we don't exceed 5,000 to move forward with those sealed. Those are the stormwater sewage issue locations.
okay, motion by Charity, do I have a second?
Can I question that?
You can question
So
it.
you're plugging up the stormwater that's getting into the dam here, correct? What are you doing with the water if you're plugging up so it doesn't go near?
Well, one of the catch basins is one across the street, which is smashed anyway, right there on the corner. But that one, next time we get come in, do the handicap. Yeah. The other one is directly across the street on this side of the highway. We'd already looked at sealing that one off. The other one to go in is this right underneath the steel plate, actually goes up to that manhole. So I was working with the railroad with one down there by Sheets, and you do have crossings under the railroad. But today, when you apply for a permit to go underneath the railroad, there is an annual fee with those. So that one down there's so much water comes all the way down Pittsburgh. I wanted to deal with that one. Businesses there. This one here, I basically had the railroad come out. We looked at it. I said, guys, what do you want to do? I have the option. I can come across the railroad, but nearest catch basin is clear down here. I'd have to go all the way down the road and tie in there and pay an annual fee. I said, well, you guys work with me here. I said, they're him hauling around, sewage authorities on me. So I already told the railroad, I said, seal it up, see what happens with the water. It's either going to follow your tracks down around or it's going to fill up, run down the road and go into this catch basin. So I'm just trying to basically get their attention out of this deal, but I do have to comply with sewage right away. Because we've been working on the one down the Chiefs for over a year now, and I still don't have that.
But will there be a possible consequence in the meantime to the water that was going into the sanitary? Who's going to control that water? Is it going to cause a problem possibly until you get?
It may cause a problem, get their attention, but
So in other words, we should see that there might be water flooding the railroad here.
basically, yeah. So they're aware of it. I stood right there and told them, I said, give me something. The other option was I could dig, there's a big 42-inch down around by the gas station. But either way, I still either have to be on PennDOT right away, get halfway. To come this way, I got to pull the railroad tracks and pay the fees. So
Not too many options.
right now, it's just to comply for, the winter, the sewage board. Something done. They know that I already submitted my permit now. They're not pressuring me with sheets because they know we are going to more comply. This one up here, they're on board with me trying to get over, attention of the railroad and say, hey, once the first heavy rain hits and we see where the water's going to go, they actually have one of their pipes is right there that also ties in. And that drains to the railroad. So they're aware that they're involved to do something. I just want the release. If I have to come underneath the tracks and tie in, but I don't want to pay an annual fee after I do that.
Good luck with the railroad.
Yep.
They threaten to take.
I won't go, they can't come to you, but I'm okay. And then the other thing on my report is paving breakdown, but
Okay, Gary,
I've already reported on everything that I was working on.
okay? Anybody have any for the mayor's report? Okay. Public comment number 2.
Go first, Tom.
Don't matter.
You.
I appreciate you guys listening, and I know that, money's an issue, but I just think this sign thing is an issue, these street signs. I mean, like I said, again, I know that, I don't want to fight, but maybe in the future we can try again. I know that maybe 10 years ago, Andy, when you was, president, maybe we talked about it, and got some done. So, that's all I really have, and I just think I think these ought to be fixed. This stop sign thing, I've lived on Third Avenue for 60 years. And I'm pretty sure that there was a time when that was four-way stop at Baxter and Third Avenue. And I'm telling you, if you guys ever sit up there, I'm gonna tell you, write tickets. They were hide up in there. They fly up Third Avenue and they fly up Baxter. And I walk my dog there 4 times a day. So the only answer to me is to put a four-way stop sign up there to slow them down. I'm not asking them to write tickets.
Do you want me to do a traffic study?
Sure,
Because that comes through my committee, traffic study.
sure,
So you were looking for a traffic study at Baxter and Third?
yes.
Once we get a traffic study done, then we can go forward with it if it's necessary.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and, no, it's not all 7 days, not all the time, but it's enough.
Right.
And they fly up Third
They're
Avenue.
gonna fix your stop sign. I messaged them already. They're gonna work on that and then we have to get, it's gonna take a little bit of time to order signs in, whatever we can.
That's fine, that's fine.
Tom, is that the corner of where South Grade was?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yes. If you take a right on South Broadway, you go up to Third,
right.
and there's just that, right there, that stop sign, the one that's bad. And then the South Grade School is catty corner and Baxter, and I can give you names. They fly up Baxter, you know, so. I appreciate you guys.
And I'm with you on the signs, being a code officer and out of state and everything else, but it's hard to, I find the house numbers even hard to
Sure.
find on half the houses, but sometimes I don't know what street I'm on.
And you guys talked about that, about putting house numbers, and a lot of people didn't do it. A lot of people didn't do it.
I'm starting to run out, we're getting, caught up on vehicles, tires, grass season's just about out, so I think that we would probably, talk to these guys about the numbers on your houses, which is the code. And also the one that gets me and you guys, they don't want me to enforce it yet, but parking the wrong way on the street. I mean, they're ready, but
Yeah,
you're supposed to
they
park
do
on
it.
the side you're on, and people will whip across and park the wrong way. So
Yeah.
it's coming to that point in time.
Yeah,
Because we get everything else caught up.
And parking on the sidewalk on Broadway.
Well, that's everywhere.
South Broadway is terrible. I think the whole way up from my house, up to maybe
Well, people
Fifth
do that
Avenue.
so they can, like how many times you lose your meter.
I'm on my fourth side mirror.
That's what they do. They can try to get off the road as much as they can. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can verify that. I'm on the fourth mirror on my truck.
so just to add to your point, there is a lot of houses that don't have the house numbers. And I mean, these guys at 4 o'clock in the morning, they're half asleep and somebody needs an ambulance. It's nice to see them house numbers. I got the front and back of my house.
Well,
You
you're
drive by.
good because I was gonna say that part of our trash ordinance is the
It
number of
is.
the house has
It
to
is.
be in the alley also.
And mine's on, you go look, 118, my
There's a couple
son
of
is on the
them
back.
I found.
It is. What's that?
There's a couple of them I found inside.
Yeah. So what do you think about a four-way stop sign? Is that, was that another ordinance?
Now, I just see if it has to pass, there's questions that have to come up. If it answers them, then we'll bring it to council and say, yeah, you do pass.
Okay, well, that would slow them down. That's just an idea. I appreciate you folks. Oh, yes. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brina Stefano. I live on the 700 block in Walnut Avenue, excuse me. I asked you to just listen to me first. I talk fast. I'm a legal law attorney as well, so I talk real fast. Sorry. I apologize in advance. I will answer any questions you have at the end of my 3 minutes or in duration. Thank you, Gary, for updating us on the publishing house. I live about 4 houses from it, diagonal. I know I have people behind me that deal with problems as well with Market and Walnut. I've talked to the Mennonite. I have a very close relationship with that church and how they function. I think moving forward too, I understand when things are published by the county, because I have talked to them as well about my own issues I deal with when I went to North Huntington in the Rilton area. I would like to be informed as a resident if you are going to be proceeding with things. I hope you're aware, I've called the borough multiple times. People have hit the fence coming around that corner. I stood up here about 3 or 4 months ago when I asked for speed bumps coming down Walnut across from their parking lot via the Mennonite lot. We have lost mirrors, and a couple of my neighbors, I live with a bunch of elderly people, 60 and above who've lost mirrors. It's a small street. It's a park on one side. I understand you are going to have to demo this. That's the end goal of getting rid of this publishing Wellspring house. But at this point, we need to stop these people and open an open line of communication when you are doing things, because that affects us on those couple blocks. And we have elderly people that demand access and space. There's a gentleman that lives right across from it. He can't get there unless he has access. That means he has to park on our lot that comes into it. I know I've talked to the Mennonites before, but that's their own problem. So I do ask moving forward, when you make these decisions, other than the committee meetings, so the minutes are published, if you get anything, if you guys survey them, because I do see the homeless go in there. We have a camera, bird's eye wide fish camera now on our front property because they walk through our gated property. Now I'm telling you where I live. They walk through our property line and walk back, walk forth, and it's kids. And I can see them in the top window because it's now broken. So I have video evidence. I've called Stacy about it. So I'm asking moving forward, do you want us to call when these people hit the fence? I'm not going to spend my whole life looking at the fence, but are we getting some updates in the future? Will we be alerted if things need to go down? Do we call the police regularly when we see these kids come through? Because my fear is that I've already seen 2 windows broken. I've seen the one boarded up in the corner. What is the next step? So one, I'm asking for transparency. I live there. I have elderly neighbors I try to take care of and watch out for, as well as a younger resident of the community. To go on your Women's Act, I've tried to apply for a grant. I can't get it. Why? Because I'm younger and they don't have enough information. I have a business plan, everything go. And by the time I go for that process, not the money, it's the time, it's the effort, it's going through the loops. And I have a full-time job and I take care of people. I don't have time to go through loops. So I disagree with your decision, but I'm going to tell you right now, it makes it way harder for me as a woman to get any kind of credibility in this town rather than a man. So I do apologize. And I know I'm saying that it's being wrong, but I am asking for transparency moving forward. Thank you.
Per the parking lot code for development of for parking lot 27-505, part B. Parking lot. They shall be surfaced with a durable bituminous or concrete paving material and shall properly be graded and drained to dispose of all surface water. That's a gravel parking lot. We all know that. That's a violation, right?
I said 505. Is that what's in here?
27-505.
I have 27,613, 27,614, 27,615.
This one is only for me, but we can get that. I'll read that ordinance right now. Positive action. In case any building, structure, landscaping, or land is proposed to be erected, constructed, reconstructed, altered, converted, maintained, or used in violation of this chapter, the Borough Council, or with the approval of the Borough Council, an officer of the borough, or any aggrieved owner or tenant of real property who shows that his property or person will be substantially affected by the alleged violation, in addition to other remedies, may institute any appropriate action or proceeding to prevent, restrain, correct, or abate such building, structure, landscaping, or land, or to prevent in or about such premises any act, conduct, business, or use constituting a violation. When any such action is instituted by a landowner or tenant, notice of that action shall be served upon the borough at least 30 days prior to the time of the action is begun by serving a copy of the complaint to the Borough Council. I just did that to you guys. That's a copy of my complaint. No such action may be maintained until such notice has been given. So, I don't know if anybody's aware of that ordinance. It's right here in 27-614, like you say. But my request is to have this ordinance right here that I just gave you enforced. My question to you, Steve, is last month you talked about repercussions. What's the repercussion if you don't enforce this code?
I did meet with him and he said he's gonna do what I asked him to do, so
Did you write it down? Did you give him notice in writing of violation?
I met him face to face. I'm gonna go.
Did you give him writing? Did you give him written notice?
No.
Okay. That's required in this,
All right,
chapter 27 as well.
Stephanie, no,
Oh, sorry, that's fine.
no, that's enough.
That's required in chapter 27, Steve. Chapter 26 too. So I need this code enforced, please.
We will, okay,
Appreciate it.
take a look at it.
I will follow up next month. Good.
I'm sorry that I laughed, but I mean, honestly, it's been 10 years. I'm dealing with the same ordinance. We've been dealing with the same ordinance that Lincoln's been dealing with.
Well, we dealt with this ordinance a while back with, it kind of goes along with sideways, or driveways with the gravel, because there's a lot of gravel driveways. And, I was working with Angelo on what we can do about, getting and it's part of the MS4 with the gravel getting thrown out on the road.
What I'm asking though is, he asked you a question, and it's like, you're going to enforce the ordinance, and you said that you're a gentleman.
Well,
Like, he asked you, you didn't answer the question. Are you going to enforce the ordinance?
yes.
Because I mean, that seems to be a reoccurring thing in Scottdale. We're having a lot of problems with the ordinances being.
That I can interpret the ordinance, like I said, I think with these reading and the one that we worked with the other property owners with the gravel, whether or not that gravel has to be paved or not paved too. So I'll
Anyway.
interpret it and go from there.
So I know that Joy, she mentioned about the, the 3-minute rule, and, it was, motion no. So, and she said she'd never speak of it again, but it looks like things are sort of heading in the right direction from why I'm here. So I think that maybe I'll be speaking of that, and God knows I can speak, I can be a dead horse. So the 5-minute rule, I mean, I'm really disappointed. You two aren't going to be, you guys are stepping out of council seats, which thank you for your time, but you're voting against this, like, you're not going to be here. Thank you for the ones that did, Andy and Mary Yeager, for voting for that. But, we have a full, we have a full room for a reason. You guys were not meeting, just the committee meetings are, sparse, if at all. We've had, there's not much of show up. Sometimes they've been canceled. We've had council meetings canceled. I don't think we'd need 5 minutes if we had working committees. Not 3 minutes. 5 minutes does not seem a lot, but I've watched Lincoln speed talk through that first 3 minutes. I know what it feels like. I've had to do it too. That 5 minutes means a lot to the people that you're supposed to be serving. So it's really disappointing to me that you did not, I don't think the public's gonna be very happy with hearing that. That you don't want to hear from the public, from the residents that you serve. I don't know. That 3 minutes, it's pretty hard to do, so.
I concur with what Stephanie just said, and I think it needs to be revisited, especially because 3 of the members of council who voted against it tonight are not going to be with us after January 1. So please consider that. We show up for a reason. And then following up with that, I'd like to know, why are there uniformed police officers here in attendance at the meetings?
For case things get out of hand.
In case things get out of hand. Mickey, I've been attending meetings for 20 months now, and nothing has gotten out of hand.
Apparently you haven't been there. But there have been times where they were called over here.
And can't you do that
Control order.
again? Because I think we need our uniformed officers out on the streets patrolling. My comments are not directed to the office, not a criticism of you gentlemen, but I do believe that their presence is needed on the streets and not here at council. I think that's definitely overkill, and I think that's dismissive of the people who appear before you. I don't think you are giving us the respect that we need, when we show you respect by attending and not being unruly. Again, I've been coming since February of 2023. Maybe 24. It's going to be 2 years, 24. And there has been no need for any police officer to intervene and enforce. There have been no disruptions.
All right, I'm gonna say something. I'm fucking crucified for it. You say about respect. I sit here how many times and have to listen to all this out here with no respect. Calling for this man's resignation, calling for Dawn's resignation, calling for Gary's resignation. I'm tired of it. I'm sorry.
All right, Nikki, let's address the issue that I raised. You haven't asked the police officers to intervene. They have not needed to intervene. Should be on the streets.
Oh, they're on the street.
They should be on the streets patrolling. If you need them, make a call. Thank you.
I think she has a good point. First of all, the police, they have a police chief, they have an assistant chief, they have a mayor. The mayor's in charge of the police force, okay? Now, the police were here at the last meeting without the knowledge of the chief of police or the assistant police chief, and without the mayor's knowledge. They stood there, there was no animosity. This crowd has not been bad. And lastly, you guys are elected officials. You want the position, you're gonna have to take some crap from the public when they're upset. Why do you sit there? How can you sit there and say, well, I gotta take your garbage? You're an elected official. They have a voice. Listen to them, please.
I agree.
That's all.
I listen to them, but I get tired of being put down all the time.
But you're an elected official. You have to listen to it, no matter what the public says. That's part of your elected position.
I mean, I feel like.
I've been about, I was elected plus the manager.
Because I spoke my piece. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Michael Remington. I am running for Borough Council, 4th Ward. I'm going to be on the ballot on November 4th. And if anybody wants to follow up with me, my email is remingtonforcouncil@protonmail.com. I'm recording right now because I noticed on the videos online that it wasn't so good for the presenters. So I'm just getting a little here. So we got 3 minutes, so I got to move fast. First thing I wanted to get to was I noticed on the borough website that the agenda and the minutes were not up to date, and it would be nice to see that so that the public can actually follow up on what's going on at their leisure without too much inconvenience. Also, a map of Scottdale with the wards would be really beneficial on the website, so people can know what ward do I live in. Most of them don't even know, at least from my experience. And then they can find out who they represents them. And then I find it alarming that the publishing house had not been inspected structurally when there's bricks been falling on the ground. And how does anyone know that the whole entire wall is not going to fall out onto the street? It's been known that there's an issue for 7 years now. It's been reported in the Tribune for 5 years. And I've even presented on the dangers of the wireless on top of the building back in 2022, in June and May. So people are being harmed right now. People are in danger. And I'd like to know, did the borough take the opportunity to buy the building today at the tax sale and take control over it so they can take immediate action, turn off the power of the wireless, put up some, get it inspected, they have access to, and do any necessary repairs and keep somebody from getting crushed from the 3-4 story building falling on top of them. And then also, I noticed the YouTube channel only has 22 subscribers when the borough used to stream on Facebook, which has 2.9 thousand followers. And, so not too many people are seeing these borough meetings. Seating is full, not too much room for all the other 5,000 members of Scottdale to sit in on this meeting. So I thought it'd be good to see that go up on Facebook so that people will be notified about it and they'll be able to, join in this community participation that we're doing here. I say, oh, yeah, the solicitor, nobody can really hardly hear him. So it'd be great to get that improved too. Thank you very much, for your time. Yeah, thinking about it. Yes.
It's obvious, David Platonic, Scottdale resident, it's obvious that many residents of the community are attending meetings concerned about safety issues, financial issues. Tonight, there have been multiple, safety issues or property rights issues, financial issues, presented. I just, am terribly disappointed that you want to limit people to 5 minutes whenever they are bringing important issues to you. Obviously, this sign issue presented by Mr. McLaughlin tonight is something that needs to be addressed. There are times when, in order to make progress, people are answering questions from the audience. So it's obvious to me that you need more communication from the public, not less.
First of all, thank you, Andy, for putting up the vote. Thank you for Mary seconded. Will you please remove the knife from my back? No?
All right, that's enough.
So I'm here today to ask for Mickey's resignation. And the reason why is because I attend meetings after meetings. In his committee meeting, who he is the chair of government, he has said, well, give me time. I'm learning. He's a seasoned councilman. He's a seasoned guy. Also, tonight, he just insulted everyone that spends their time here, which is ridiculous. Oh, let's not forget when we were choosing meetings that were back to back, spread out, but back to back, when we only had to come 2 nights, he whined, I gotta come 4 nights. So do all we that attend the meetings.
Who complained?
You.
When did you ever hear me complain
Did
about
you ever
attending a
hear
meeting?
that?
Council, the subcommittee meetings, yep, you can have it.
Now, Mickey, I don't want to continue with my long journey of things you complain about the time. Oh, let's not mention the committee meeting. He's a public servant. He wanted to serve the public. He wanted to help the public. He voted. Get out of the way of the seat. Give it up. He said at his own meeting that it's not like I get paid. If I got paid, I'm here. One time I was here till late at night. It's not a paid position, Mickey. We sit in the same church. It's time to do good, Mickey. Give up the seat.
Why didn't you run for council?
You want to know why? I came here with 2 suitcases. One had my clothes that was checked luggage. One had my baby doll from when I was 2 years old. I'm 60, so 58 years I had that baby doll and a suitcase of money. The suitcase and the money and the baby doll were in the thing that came on the plane. I'm going back with my clothes and checked luggage and my baby doll in the suitcase, and the money's not there no more. And I counted on this town, and I counted on 8 of y'all. At least Mr. Pinsky here is starting to have a voice and fight for the people. But the rest of all, you have your own agendas and you do what you want to do. So you 2 over there, I'm off limits to you, you're off limits to me. The building should be closing soon. The house will be up for sale. I'm out of y'all's way, okay? But these people, they deserve more. They've lived in this town forever. They deserve more than that building sitting there being a nuisance and a dangerous. And we're getting on winter, and that snow's going to be heavy. And if somebody gets hurt, God forbid, it's not going to be a good thing. So y'all 3 are gone. These people are going to make a difference, and this guy's going to make a difference. And I'm hoping you do too, Mary, because I think you got it in you. Any other questions, Mickey?
No. Anybody else?
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
About the police? Scenario, somebody comes in here and starts shooting, gonna call the police, oh, they're back in town. You got one police officer here doing their job. And all of a sudden, 20 people are dead.
because there wasn't no police here. Give me a break. You know, I come to the meetings because I look out for trouble. I carry a gun, so let everybody know. Okay? I'm part of the police department. I'm the chief of auxiliary. So if you just want to bitch about the police, then come see me. Because who's going to walk when you go to church? Oh, there ain't going to be no shootings. Yeah. Just like government. Somebody could walk through that door and start shooting these guys. Shooting you, and you're going to call the police? Give me a break.
All right, anybody else? All right, before we go into the, executive session, I'd like to say one thing. First of all, I apologize. I really realized tonight how much, in my, not my time here, but what I'm trying to say is I've been recently diagnosed with stroke, and it has affected my memory. I realized tonight how much I embarrassed myself sitting here, forgetting where I'm talking right in the middle of the sentence. If you can't accept it, I'm sorry. All right, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and I believe you, but like, your health should come first. And if you're forgetting things, you should be taking care of yourself and let everybody else take care of the town. If you're forgetting things, it's very important. You have a very important position.
I have not had a problem with that here tonight. I don't know why tonight's meeting really has upset me. And I have a short-time memory problem.
So that's not.
And everybody, pretty much everybody on this council has known about it. And
they have not said.
Tonight was the first time that I actually noticed it in myself. And never mind.
Thank you, honestly, as a person, we care about you. And this is the case, like, we're not here to crucify you. But if that's the case, then that's not serving justice to the town either.
Sorry. Forget about it. All right, anything else under public comment? Okay, I'm gonna call for the executive session at 8:31.
We're starting meeting. He said it started.
Telling him we're calling it at 8:30.
We need to chat here for a second.
My personality doesn't.
No. He's American. I want to appreciate more.